I just realized how many cat hairs are on my jacket. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello. My name is Gabby and welcome. Hopefully this is not the first video that you're watching on my channel because this is not what I usually do. I rarely ever talk about myself. Sometimes I'll give opinions, but I usually don't share too much of my personal life on my channel, but it's 2021 and anything is possible, especially the complete destruction of the world. Anyways, so last week I posted on my community tab. I posted on my community tab that I was doing a Q&A on my channel. So people started sending in questions and one person pointed out, they said, I've been subscribed to you for quite a while and I still feel like I really don't know you. To be honest, it kind of made me a little sad because yes, the point of my channel is not supposed to be me, it's supposed to be the cases that I cover and any information and facts that back up those cases and occasionally some opinions from me, the researcher and narrator of these videos and the person who edits them and puts them together and runs this channel because it really is only me. Some people think that I have an entire team, like, no, it's just me. I've done some Q&As before, but I don't feel like I've really shared much about myself. So I gathered a little over 20 questions. I feel like these questions will really help you guys get to know me a little bit better, hopefully. So let's get right into it. First question, how old am I? A lot of people think I am like 16, 17, 18 years old. I wish. I am, I almost said 24, 25 years old. I am a quarter of a century old. I feel like it's really gonna hit me at 26, but for now, until June 22nd, I'm 25. How I got into true crime. When I was younger, my mother and my grandmother were very much fascinated by the case of Jack the Ripper. And of course, as a kid, the details of the Jack the Ripper cases were not told to me in detail, but I knew about that case. And then when I got older, I researched more into it. And my mother and my grandmother were also interested in the case of John Benet Ramsey, which of course, who wasn't? Just kind of vaguely knew about these cases. And then I would say I became more interested in not just true crime, but cold cases growing up with the show Cold Case. I was obsessed with that show. What is the first case that I became very much obsessed with? And there are a few cases that I would say I dove into deeply near the beginning of my true crime obsession, but I would say the first case that I could not stop thinking about was the case of Sylvia Likens. I don't know exactly what it is about the case of Sylvia Likens, the abuse, the neglect, the torture, the murder, everything intertwined into one, but also more than anything, the fact that people knew this was going on and nobody did anything. And I think it just shows how selfish and cruel humans can be as a whole. What is my favorite movie? I have a lot of favorite movies. My favorite genre of movies has to be psychological thrillers. I love movies like Donnie Darko, The Butterfly Effect, American Beauty. But above all, not a psychological thriller, but my favorite movie of all time, hands down, is Big Fish. It is hands down Tim Burton's most underrated film. It is absolutely incredible. The characters, the way the set looks and was designed, and the storyline, and it's so good. And every time I watch it, I get captivated by it and I cry. I cry every time. It's so good. What is my biggest fear? I'm afraid of a lot of things. I hate flying. I don't like heights. I'm not a fan of grasshoppers. I'll never kill one. I just don't like them. But I am so petrified of tornadoes. As soon as the wind starts whistling outside, I'm like down in the basement. Other than those things on a general spectrum, I am like petrified of mediocrity. I would hate to get to like 85 years old or 90 and be on my deathbed and realize that I didn't do everything that I wanted to do in life and I lived a mediocre life. That is such a fear of mine. How has researching these true crime cases affected you mentally? Now, I've kind of touched on this topic before in a previous video, but researching all of these cases, any true crime YouTuber, podcaster, anybody who's written a book about any true crime case, anybody who does a TV show about true crime knows it will, if you have a heart, affect you mentally. I have talked to family members and friends of victims and they have cried to me, and it has made me cry because I'm the type of person, if I hear somebody else crying, I'm gonna cry myself. I am somebody that deals with depression. I would not say that these cases affect my depression at all or that it has worsened my depression. I would say that it does make me sad at times. I would say that it does add to paranoia at times, which I've heard a lot of other YouTubers talk about, that you're kind of walking down the street and you're just looking around you a lot more than you did before you were researching into these cases. As a whole though, my mental health comes first, and if I need to take a break from these cases, I do. I always do. But I love what I do. This is one of the few things that I will be able to do in my life that I absolutely love and I will never stop doing. Even if YouTube was going to shut down tomorrow, I would continue with a blog, or I would continue on Patreon, or I would start a book. Like, this is what I want to be doing, and I am so fascinated by these cases and I want to see them solved and I want to spread the word about them. I love what I do, and I wouldn't say that the way that they affect me mentally overshadows my love for them. What is my favorite book? Now, I have a lot of favorite books. When it comes to a fictional book, I would say The Time Traveler's Wife. I absolutely love that book. I think the movie was decent, but the book is so good. How many tattoos do I have? I do not have a lot of tattoos, but I get asked about tattoos all the time on the regular, especially what my arm says. My arm says, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may," and it's from the poem "To the Virgins to Make Much of Time" by Robert Herrick. On my left rib, I have "Time Makes You Bolder" in my mother's handwriting, which of course comes from the Fleetwood Mac song "Landslide." On my right ankle, I did it on myself, I know. Don't stick and poke, just get a professional, please. But years ago, I have "Love in Elvish" because Lord of the Rings. My very first tattoo was an open heart on my finger because my mom's first tattoo was an open heart. On this finger, I'm not flipping you off, I promise, I have 3 dots, which I really need to get covered up. I also have a little arrow right here on my thumb, which again, I did myself along with the 3 dots. Don't stick and poke. Lastly, I have my black kitty sitting on a moon, which I'm going to get redone and amped up very, very soon. And I think that's it. Where did the name Gabilosis come from? I've answered this question before, but I thought I'd answer it again. The name Gabilosis came from my great uncle. When I was younger, my great uncle had names for pretty much everyone in the family, and I always wanted a name. One time I was out of the room and my great uncle was sitting there with the rest of my family, and out of nowhere he was just like, "Where's Gabilosis?" And everybody was like, Gabulosis, what? And yeah, that's where Gabilosis came from. And now a lot of people all over the world know me as Gabulosis. What are some of the things that I am obsessed with? I feel like we should just speed around this. Fluffy blankets, fluffy sweaters, iced matcha green tea lattes with soy milk from Starbucks, vintage Barbies, animal paws. I just have a thing with animal paws. They're just so cute. Ranch dressing from Outback Steakhouse, Reese cups, silent movies, Sailor Moon, anything that smells like cotton candy, banana, or mocha, Publix subs, antique shops, sushi, red lipstick. What do I like most about being a YouTuber? There are a lot of things that I just love about what I do. Of course, being able to set my own schedule is awesome. Being able to be in charge of what I do and what content I come out with. I love being able to talk with you all and create conversation and go through theories, and everybody on my channel just mostly has such an open mind, and everybody cares so much about these cases that I come across and do a video on, and I just love that. I love researching. I love just sitting down and being in a big fuzzy blanket with a little bit of tea and researching the night away and being able to talk with family members and friends of victims and hearing these stories that I never knew about a few months ago or a couple years ago. And I don't know, I really love what I do. What do I dislike about being a YouTuber? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and complain because I don't want everybody thinking I dislike what I do. Trust me, the love that I have for what I do is so much more than the few little things that I have to complain about. For one, I don't agree with the way YouTube handles a lot of things. I think they let a lot of horrible people stay on this platform, and there's a lot of content that they should have taken down or demonetized, and yet they're sitting there demonetizing videos that should be monetized because a lot of hard work goes into those videos and they were done with nothing but care for the topic that is being discussed, and yet they're demonetized and the person that put all this work into them is making no money off the video, which I think people should be paid for their work. Other than that, I don't think it's fair that YouTube does not notify a lot of our subscribers when we upload videos. And I'm not talking about a notification, I'm talking about our videos actually coming up on their feed. That's literally just step one of the YouTube platform. I get so many comments from people telling me that they have not seen my videos in months come up on their newsfeed. I've had people I know tell me that they have been unsubscribed from my channel. Even my own mother went to my channel and she was unsubscribed from my channel, and she's very active on YouTube. Other than that, of course, YouTube hate, that's always a thing, but you kind of get used to it after a while, and most of the hate you end up getting as a YouTuber makes absolutely no sense. I had somebody tell me that they hated my guts because they didn't like the lipstick color I was wearing that day. It happens. Also, if you mispronounce a word on YouTube ever, you will forever be known as a word mispronouncer. Even when you pronounce the word right, sometimes you'll have people flipping out on you. Like one time I pronounced a name a certain way and I actually talked directly to a family member and asked them if that was how you pronounce it, and that is in fact how you pronounce it, and I still had people telling me I was ignorant because I pronounced it the way that the family wanted me to pronounce it. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube, it's weird. Biggest pet peeve. I have a lot of pet peeves, but I gotta say one of my biggest pet peeves has to be people that only do things for other people when there's something in it for them. Selfishness. What are some hobbies of mine? I have a lot of hobbies, but I would say drawing, that's up there. I wanna get into painting. I really wanna learn the piano. Number one, my favorite thing to do definitely has to be cooking. It's like the only thing I'll admit I'm good at is cooking. Every time somebody comes over my house, I'm just like, what do you want? Do you want chicken parm? Do you want like brownies? What do you want? Who is my favorite celebrity? My favorite celebrity of all time, unfortunately, she passed away many years ago in 1937, Jean Harlow. And I'm actually going to be getting a Jean Harlow tattoo at some time. That is how much I love Jean Harlow. What is something strange about me? There's a lot of things strange about me. For one, not a lot of people know this, but people who know me very well know and have noticed it. People think I'm like insane until they're actually around me for a while. But my birthday is June 22nd, which translates of course to 6/22. And I always see on the clock 6/22. And I also always see everywhere the number 22. 22 is my favorite number. It's like my lucky number, but always on the clock, I see 6/22, and in person, in random places, I'll see 22. People think I'm weird until they're around me, and then hours and hours and hours will go by and they'll be like, hey, what time is it? And I'll be like 6/22, and they'll think I'm lying, and I'm not. Something with 6/22. Or I'll be out somewhere and I'll be waiting in line and I'll get a little ticket and it'll say 22. Call me crazy. Something that a lot of people don't know about me. Well, number one, something that I don't really talk about ever, because I've talked about my depression and anxiety here, there, in little spurts, but I do have borderline personality disorder, which is so much better in current time, but I used to deal with it immensely and it completely took control of my life, and it was, and still is, horrible to deal with. Something else that a lot of people don't know is one time I was very sick and I had to be taken to the hospital, and I was actually this close to dying. I'm guessing I was like that close to dying. I was very dehydrated. I was so dehydrated, they actually gave me, I think, 5 IV bags, which is like a lot, but I was so close to dying that I actually saw my life flash before my eyes. It's terrifying. Some things on my bucket list. I have a lot of things on my bucket list, and I actually have a list of buckets. No, that's not what you say. A list of my bucket list items, things I want to do. You know what I mean. One of those things, I really want to go ziplining. I would love to skydive, but I am so terrified of heights. I really want to go to Los Angeles, and I want to go for more the historical aspect of it. Like, I want to see where a lot of old Hollywood actors and actresses are buried, and, you know, different areas where movies were filmed. What are some other things that I really want to do in my life? I want to go to New Orleans. I love the history of New Orleans. When it comes to worldwide, I want to go to Switzerland. I would love to go to Paris. I really want to go to Japan. My boyfriend has been talking about Japan, and I'm like, I want to go to Japan. I also, in my lifetime, have to identify a John or Jane Doe. I know solving a case in entirety is a different thing, but I would love to give somebody their name back. I would also really want to write a book on a cold case. What is the biggest lesson I have learned in life? I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning every day, that's for sure. You learn something new every day, but I gotta say, all in all, we are literally on a floating rock in space, just floating around. Nothing is really gonna mean much in like 100 years. If you mess up tomorrow, if you do something embarrassing, I can tell you, nobody's gonna remember it. You know, just try, like do something. If you fail, you failed, try it again, you'll succeed. You know, it doesn't matter. Do what you wanna do. That's all I gotta say. You know, as long as it's legal, it makes you happy, it's not harming anybody, you know, just go for it. If I could have a superpower, what superpower would it be? I don't know if this is a superpower, but the whole Liza Thornberry thing, like talking to animals, I would love that. I also really want to say time travel, but I've watched a lot of time travel movies, and there's that whole like, you mess up one thing, like you put the soap back in the shower in a different spot, and somehow there's like another war going on in your year. I don't know. That scares me. I want to say time travel because I want to go back and like see stuff, but again, it's a little scary. What is a bad habit of mine? I have a lot of bad habits. I've gone through some of them, like the whole biting my nails thing. I've gone through that, but I gotta say, one of my biggest bad habits, and I know it comes from anxiety, I am constantly picking at my sweaters. Does anybody else do this? I'm always picking at the strings on my sweaters, and most of my sweaters and long sleeve shirts have like rips in them. That is a very bad habit of mine. Another thing, I'm very impatient, and I try to work on being more patient. I don't know if it was the whole me living in New York for like 10 plus years thing, but I'm so impatient at times. I'm just always like, come on, like let's get it done. And it drives people crazy. The last question I have, which I thought I would leave off on some sort of positive note, even though most of those were positive, some of them a little bit like whatever, but what are some of my goals for 2021? Because it is a new year and it's not looking too good, but what are some of my goals? I gotta say, this year I would love to hit 200,000 subscribers. That's definitely up there. I also want to journal a lot more. I also want to get back into drawing, and I want to be more active. I really want to just hike more. I know it's winter, but as soon as spring hits, I promise I'm gonna be hiking. So those are all of the questions that I'm going to answer today. If anybody is just on the edge of their seats and has a dire question that they want to ask me, you can put that question down below in the comments, and I'll probably just answer you there, unless it's something I really just don't want to talk about. But after you got through that video, I hope that you know me a little bit better, and maybe we have something in common. If we have anything in common, let me know that down below in the comments, because let's be friends, I don't know. But with all those questions being answered, all that being said, let's get back really quickly to what my channel is actually about, and that is true crime. I have a lot of videos coming up in 2021 that I know I'm going to be covering this year. Some of them I am currently working on, and I'm working with family members and friends of the victims, and I'm just really excited for those videos to be complete in full and have all my research done and just tell the story and get that out for you all, because I know they're cases that deserve to be talked about. But until then, I will see you all in my very first case video of 2021, which will be out early next week. But before that video comes out, go to my channel and watch my last case video, which is the case of Princess Doe. And then you'll be ready for my very first video of 2021, because that video coming up has a strong connection to the case of Princess Doe. With all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.